All right, guys, here's some notes about Pythagorean theorem. Pythagoras was honestly, I don't really understand these first two parts, but Pythagoras was a mathematician. That's a guy's name. And his famous theorem is the Pythagorean theorem. So it's used for finding the side lengths of right triangles. Okay, so let's make sure we know what right triangles means. Right triangles are 90 degrees exactly. So we're not talking about 90, or sorry, we're not talking about 89, we're talking about exactly 90. So importantly, it's this symbol here, which is the 90. And then we have A, B, and C. Now this C, this is the big one, this is the most important one, and it is the biggest side. It is across from the 90, and it is called a hypotenuse. Okay, so these are all things that are super important. The theorem, most everybody's heard it before. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So that's A squared plus B squared equals C squared. But importantly, C must be the hypotenuse, which is basically just the big side. Okay. Now pretty much you can't miss these questions unless you mess this part up. So focus on this. Now on the back, we've got some questions, and we've got this little thing here. I believe the idea is that we're going to fold this piece of paper so that it makes a right triangle. So we're going to fold on this line, and if we fold on this line, nice. You know, we made some triangles. How cute. I'm going to go ahead and label this middle line here as the hypotenuse. Right? This is the long diagonal line that goes across. Okay, so let's do these questions and figure this out. Okay? Find the missing side lengths of the following triangles, x, 6, and 8. So first of all, we want to figure out which one of these is the C. Okay? This one here, this is the C value. Okay? So when we go to set up our equation, it's going to be 6 squared plus 8 squared is equal to x squared. All right, remember, this is the C. This is the long diagonal answer that's across from the square root. Okay, it has to go in this position. And if you get it wrong, you're wrong. Now, we're going to go to Desmos. Don't read my email. And on Desmos, we can type this in. 6 squared plus 8 squared is equal to x squared. Now, first of all, how do you type in this stuff? You can use this squared button on the keyboard, or you can do Shift 6 if you need to type it in. Now, you're always going to get two answers, positive and negative, and we always want the positive answer. And so the answer is going to be 10 for this question. So x equals 10, and we're done. Now, I just want to show you for just a second what happens if we change some stuff around. So first of all, I did 6 and 8. What happens if I make it 8 and 6? You can see it's still 10. So you're allowed to change the two that are not the hypotenuse. 6 and 8, it doesn't matter. 6, 8, 8, 6, 6, 8, it doesn't matter. Okay? But this x has to be over here. Okay? Now what happens if I change it this time so that the x and the 8 are switched? This is a problem. because now the x, which should be the hypotenuse, is in the wrong place. Now, this can be kind of annoying to type. A lot of students don't like to type the squares over and over again. For example, for this question, we have this 7, so we could put this 7 over here. We can think about this triangle, and it's 7, 24, and x. And so if I go to Desmos, I can type the 7 plus the 24 is equal to the x squared. And students, honestly, they get annoyed. They get kind of tired of typing that in. It's 25, right? It can be a little annoying to type all that in. X equals 25. Now, one thing that you can do, this is kind of some people will like this, some people will not like this, is you can type a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, when you type that in, Desmos doesn't really know what to do, because Desmos doesn't like a, b, or c. But then you can go here and you can put 7, 24, x. And then it will give you the answer. So if you do it this way, you only have to type it in one time all class. So if I want to do a question like this, all I need to do is 3x5, go to Desmos, and get the 3x and the 5 put into these positions. Now we do have to be careful which one of these numbers is the hypotenuse. And for this question, it has to be the 5. This 5 has to be here. It has to be in the C position. The other two don't matter. It can be x and 3. I see that my answer is 4. Or it can be 3 and x. And the answer is 4. So these two aren't that serious. But the C is crazy. I'll be honest. You don't want to be the kid that messes up the hypotenuse, right? There's literally one thing you got to get right. Okay? Look at this question. Which one is the hypotenuse? It's the 12. It's the 12. So make sure that the 12 goes where it needs to go, right? The 12 goes in the C position. At this point, you can't mess it up. X and 8.7. Click it. Now this time I'm getting a decimal. That's okay. We're just going to do one decimal place for the notes today. So we'll just call this 8.4. 8.4. And the last one that I'm going to get is this question here. Now, this is the classic teacher tries to confuse you. Remember, we only need one of these triangles, but normally when they give us two triangles, it's because we can use a strategy with these two triangles. Okay, the problem here is that 10 is supposed to be the hypotenuse. Okay, 10 is supposed to be the biggest side, right? It's diagonal. It goes across from the square root. But how come 16 is bigger than 10? 10 has to be the biggest. So what's up with this? And some of you are probably already onto it that this entire thing is 16. We only want half of it. So we're going to end up choosing 8 and not 16. We're going to take 16 and cut it in half. This is, again, it's not crazy stuff, but this is the kind of trick that they're going to try to get you with. So we have 8x and 10. So I'm going to go to Desmos. Again, 10 has to be the C. The rest of them are 8 and x. Now, what happens if I mess this up and I put 16 on accident? If I put 16 on accident, there's no answer, right? That doesn't work because literally C has to be the biggest. So it's not, you got to be a little careful when you do this. You go back 8 and then the answer shows up. Remember, we always choose the positive number, so 6 is the answer. All right, that's the notes. It's pretty straightforward. We're just using Desmos. Here's the classwork. Turn in your notes and you'll get the classwork. Here we have A, B, what is C? A, B, what is C? A, B, what is C? A, B, what is... Now this one says A, C, what is B? So be careful. Go into Desmos, put 10, X, and remember the C has to be the 26. So take your time. Make sure you put them where they need to be. On the bottom, they're not going to label them for you, right? So make sure you kind of think about, you know, this one over here, that is the C side because it's opposite the square root. It's the long diagonal piece, okay? For the second question, number 10, this is the C side because it is opposite the 90 and it is the long diagonal piece, okay? Take your time, do this right. These are not questions you want to be missing, okay?